As we move to our next session, as ITES organization are looking to grow in their initial years, it's important that they have differentiation offering, a team with the execution capabilities, and thinking that meets or exceeds the very best processes that help in the organization to scale and build a culture that talks about value and inspire excellence. This session will build a case as to how technology adoption will help build some of the above in a sustainable way and will help achieve exponential growth in the organization. The session is titled as Technology, the Driver for Culture Growth in ITES Organizations. And I would like to invite Uma Venkatraman, who is the co-founder and CEO for Ixsight Technologies, to set the context and introduce our speaker. Welcome, Uma. Over to you.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here today. It's been a very engaging session in the morning. So let me introduce Mr. Sandeep Kumar, who's the co-founder and CEO of ProductDossier Solutions. Actually, I went and visited his website before actually reading out his biodata here. The website says, it says fit to purpose for project management and make your projects profitable. So, you know the session, he actually lives what he's going to speak. So Sandeep is an alumnus of IISc Bangalore, and he passed out in 1994, and he has 25 years of professional experience in the software industry. What is very important is he's been on both sides of the technology, and therefore whatever solutions he speaks about will be with business and have a great deal of customer centricity. His expertise is in process automation, project and portfolio management, and product lifecycle management solutions. He has developed deep insights into the business or professional services, made-to-order manufacturing, EPC, and pharmaceutical verticals. So he founded ProductDossier in 2006 with a single focus on building enterprise solutions for global corporations. The key capabilities, which include project estimation, project delivery management, PLM, and he's got a large set of global customers. These names include Aisha, Viatris, Mistral, to name a few. And before this, he has spent time in geometric software, which was acquired by HCL for about 6 years. He was instrumental in starting and developing the PDM business for geometric, which went on to become a full-fledged PLM division. So, and before that, Sandeep was with Tata Research Center, implementing process automation, software for chemical and mineral processing industry in India. We really look forward to the session, and we welcome Sandeep.
Thank you, Uma. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. India is well on its path to become third largest economy by 2027, and is doing pretty well compared to other countries in several parameters. This is what we all hear very often, and then there is a lot of research going on as to what India is doing well, what parameters, etc., right? I'm not going to talk about that. Today, what I'm going to tell you is to start with a tale of 3 organizations. And so can I have my slides, please? So while he's okay. So I'm going to tell you a tale of 3 organizations, and as you can see, just in the interest of confidentiality, I have kept their names as A, B, and C. So there is something common about these 3 organizations. They started about 18, 20 years ago, so that's one similarity. The other similarity is they are all into the business of IT, ITES. So that's where the similarity ends. These 3 organizations have fared very differently in the last 20 years. If you look at the first one, they have about 16 17,000 people today. They are doing about $1 billion business, and they also have done a lot of good things and acquired multiple companies. More importantly, got the value out of every acquisition. We go on to the second one. I mean, similar business, but they are about half the revenue, done a few things good, but at half of that revenue. And third one, it has struggled to grow. It is still about $75–80 million. So what is, and then, last week I visited the first organization and I was talking to their leadership. And look at the state of mind and what is I was being asked. I met the chief delivery officer and he told me, Sandeep, in the last 10 years, we have kind of put all our processes in place, we have optimized them. I am collecting data from a sales perspective, pre-sales perspective, from a delivery, all quality, financial data, everything is there. So my next really ask from you is, how do I now make my analytics, which are today descriptive at the most diagnostic, to more predictive, and then if possible prescriptive, which can tell me how things will happen in every project, and then if I want to get to a positive result, what can I do? So this question itself tells us what he is thinking. Then in the same day I met the CFO, and this company, they have about a year ago, they have finished a very ambitious project of one-click billing of their $80 million they do every month, right? And he wanted to improve the DSO, which was quite high. So this was a very ambitious project. And then he told me, in fact, I asked him, so, how did this project go? How do you see the progress? And to my surprise, he made some faces and he said, Sandeep, this project is a little bit of irritant for me. And I was actually taken aback because I had done my ground intelligence and I thought the project was very successful. Now coming from a CFO, and I thought that, did I ask the wrong question? And then he started speaking up. He said, you know what? After this project, I have my revenues on the 3rd or 4th of every month, which is great. But sometimes what happens? $500,000 or $1 million revenue shows up in the next month. So look at his complaint. He's saying $79 million revenue I get perfect. I have a problem of $1 million which comes next month. The articulation of the problem, right? So that is the second one. Then I also happened to meet their basically CTO or head of applications. And what he was telling me is, or saying, what his vision is, now that everything is in place, I want to simplify it. And what he means by simplification is that employee is at the center of everything. Today my employee has to, go to the 5 applications to do this. Timesheet, there is one application. For HRMS, there is another application. He says, Sandeep, I want to simplify it. And I think I have the luxury because all our things are in place. I want to use Microsoft Teams to interact for most places. For most applications, my Microsoft Teams should interact with these applications. So how can you help me in that? So these 3 incidences I am telling you to basically tell you that what is the state of mind of these leadership team in that organization. Their ability to think of the next level of problem and articulate it so precisely is immense. And so that is one thing. Second, in the last 10 years, we have worked with them, it's like a Lego model. They started with something and then they build onto it, investing their dollars, getting ROI. So none of their investment has gone south. So that's number 2. And the number 3 is, I told you story of these 3 individuals. But today these stories are everywhere in the organization. Every employee is actually thinking of the next level of problem, and they are contributing to the growth of the organization. Can I have some water? So they are contributing to the growth of the organization. Excuse me for that. So now, when I went to the second organization, I mean, we don't work with them, but when I was speaking to them 3 months ago, this organization has also done well. They have invested their dollars in technology, but what has happened is they still have information in isolation, systems are not connected, and because of that, they are not able to go to the next orbit, right? They are still struggling with a lot of data. They cannot think of, using this AI, ML and all those things. So their executives are still struggling that how do I, get everything work in the way it should. And they also have a problem because they have not done the things the right way. There is a lot of legacy now applications working for them. And they not only have a problem of getting it right, they also have a problem of undoing a lot of things. And that's a lot of problem, right? I mean, if you learn the swimming wrong way, then it's very difficult to undo that. And that's exactly happening to this organization. And the third organization, obviously, they have not grown much. I mean, you look at their revenues, etc. I mean, all they have is invested in a basic accounting software, and rest of the work is done in spreadsheets. There are a few individual heroes there who are making it work, but that's the, these 3 organizations' story. So now the next thing is, what did each one of them, and so this kind of situation has happened. The first one, 10 years ago, when probably they were, they were part of, they were 1,000 people or so, they invested in early on the CRM, the ERP, and the professional services automation technology. Till then, they were using some homegrown utilities, but their CEO, he told me that, look, we have come up to this. Last 10 years, we have come up to this level using our homegrown, but now I want to invest in best in class because this is going to be my growth driver, the technology. I'm going to use it as my competitive advantage, right? And because of that, what happened, that one step that CEO took that day, the whole organization now is aligned, right? When 16,000 people are thinking of the next level of problem, what they are facing, obviously the organization is going to do well. More important, more often, we as leaders, we keep improving our thinking, and which is right, but we don't think about all the people, how do you take them along, and then only exponential value will get created. So that's what that first organization did. The second organization, they were not very far behind, but what a thing they did was they relied too long on their homegrown utilities. They had a very powerful IT department, internal IT department. And they kept saying, no, we'll do it, we'll get it there. But their thinking span, their thinking was very narrow. They built whatever was required for that day, right? And those things were not scalable. And that single error, or I would not say that single thing they did, basically hurt them so much in the later years. Now, they not only have to invest in the best-in-class technologies, but as I said, the cost of undoing what they have done is going to cause a lot of disruption. So that is the second. And third one, obviously, they didn't do much, so they are greenfield kind of thing, but they also lost the boat, right? So that's the story of three organizations. The point I'm trying to make is, technology is very, very important to scale, and this clearly shows us here. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about, while in the next slides I'll show you what a ITES company can do, but today this slide is just to show you if any organization has to grow, forget about ITES, what you need to do. And Anand spoke a lot about it, so, I was thinking as if he's speaking my slide. But first thing, and this is our own experience, if you want to grow your thinking process, everything starts from there. Everything, where you will reach is only dependent upon your thinking. And like when we started, we are a product company, when we started, we were not doing we just didn't start a business to do something. We said, can we become a SAP from India for the ITES industry, for the project-based industry? So that was the kind of benchmark we had set. And that one thinking, what it did is, now all our people, they know what we are trying to do, right? And I always think that thinking is one asset, which I have the same or even better than somebody sitting in multi-billion dollar organizations in United States or anywhere else. I can think better, and that's my competitive advantage, right? So thinking, in my views, is extremely important to grow. And again, how does the thinking improve? Thinking improves by listening to people like Anand. Thinking improves by reading books. And also thinking improves when you are basically thinking with better quality of data, better quality of facts. And how does those come? By technology. Purpose, people, and passion. I see a lot of talk about, how do I stop attrition? How do I get people? I think this is not the right way of thinking. That question itself is wrong. You have to think, and what Anand also said, what's your purpose? Focus on the right things, not on retaining people. People will stay with you if you are doing the right thing. More often, we try to please people. There is no need. If you are doing good work, if the person is engaged, you are paying him well, obviously, that is all hygiene. But people stay because they are passionate about what they are doing. So you have to create that big purpose. Today when people come to us, they say, I am a developer, I am a quality person, my role is only this much. But I tell them, that's not your role. Our customers are $1 billion revenue customers, right? You are instrumental in running their business. One slip from your side can create havoc there. So your role, you are not a developer. You are not just a QA person. You have a much bigger purpose. So I think as an organization, we have to focus on that. Differentiated offerings, that is extremely important, right? And you have to be very focused. You can't be doing everything. You have to do one thing, but you have to do best in the world. That's the way to grow. So like we said, there are only 3 leaders, right? So when we are, thinking about when we're thinking about growing, you have to think, what is that you are offering? Just a second. What is that we are offering? And keep working on it. We are a product company, like Kumar said. We are here from 2006. Many people I go, they say, oh, 2006, you haven't really grown much. This is the typical VC thing. But I said, fine, we have spent so many years, but we are doing one thing, we are building that one product, but since we have spent 16 years, our product today is perhaps one of the best products in our space in the world, right? And this is true because we are getting customers who are much, much larger than ours, Who will give a chance to a person like us, right? So you have to do really well in my mind if you want to grow, if you have to go very far. And the fourth thing, operational excellence. Now coming back to our subject, as ITES organization, you know, this, if you bring operational excellence, this will bring you scale, this will bring you quality, and this will give you a feeling of progress. And this is extremely critical. My next 2 slides are on this topic. I'll talk about it. And the culture. This is also, you know, one of the very important things. What is culture? Culture is values and behavior. How do you build behavior? Today, all people sitting in this room are paying income tax. And all of us brag, we are very honest. Right? All of us. But imagine if your company was not deducting TDS, would all of you pay taxes, including me? I don't know. So the behavior a country has brought in is by using technology. Right? Today you do a credit card transaction, it's noted somewhere. And if you try to, you know, not put it in your income tax thing, you will be caught. That is exactly the point. If you want your people to behave in a certain manner, you have to bring in technology. So if you want to build culture, culture doesn't come by writing on the wall. Culture comes by, you know, doing it again and again, and not just you, every person in the organization. And technology is the only way you can do it. Okay, so, you know, I have less time, so I'll hurry up. But in an ITES organization, there are many challenges. So the first one is suboptimal project estimation. So when you are doing this end-to-end process, right, you have the opportunity, then you get the order, and then you start and finish the project. So there are many challenges. Start with project estimations. Today it is done in Excel. So what you are doing is you are making suboptimal proposals, and the winnability is definitely less. When you are setting up a project, imagine you know, somebody doing a 1,000-meter race and there is no finish line. And how do you want that person to perform? I don't know where I have to go, what's my destination. So today, project managers, who is like a CEO of the company or their project, they don't know what is my planned profitability. It is known to that CFO in their Excel spreadsheets. So how do you even expect the results? So you have to do the project setup where this is visible to me, like every day morning it should haunt me. You know, 40% and I am at 29%. What can I do? Suboptimal resource allocation. It's a classic case. Everybody is struggling. On one hand, you have orders, you have customer willing to pay. On another hand, there is a bench, but they both don't know each other. And by the time they come to know, you 2 months are lost, your billing is lost. So resource allocation, utilization, these are key challenges. Billing. I mean, this is not just people sitting in this room, but outside. People have invested in ERPs, millions of dollars. Still they are doing manual billing. You still have to count how many hours and whether that customer gave me 2 holidays in a month or 6 in a quarter. You know, those kind of things, somebody manually doing it. And it takes a lot of time to, people very happy with DSO. But that is not effective DSO. It takes us 15-20 days to even give an invoice. And that too, it can be incorrect. So that is another problem we have. So like this, we have, you know, integrated delivery, tracking planned versus actuals, lack of actionable insights, etc. So I'll move on. So what could be the, you know, the ideal kind of application landscape in a ITES company? So on the left is the sales excellence, where you have a CRM. On the right, you have the finance excellence, where you have the ERP or HRMS and things like that. But what people don't have today is basically this white space. People where they are actually executing their projects, they are doing it in Excel and homegrown utilities. So what we are proposing is basically a PSA. It's a new kind of thing. I mean, some people may have even already heard, professional services automation. So this is for your operational excellence, where there is a delivery, there is a finance, and there are project financials, and there are resources which are all integrated. So that's the And I have even one slide where, when you have an opportunity which gets matured, the estimation can be done digitally, where you have the standard cost master, everything. The outcome of this will be two: winnable proposals and better collaboration between sales and delivery. Then you can even do soft booking so that you can correctly forecast the resource requirement. And then you have you create a delivery project here once it comes, and then resource allocation, the project execution, and then you close the project. So this is a kind of technology which all ITES companies must use if you want to scale, like we said, right? We want to do 10x. So how do you become 10x unless and until you use technology? So this is one of the key growth drivers. So this is, we as a company, we are based out of Pune, but our customers are all over the world, and we are one of the key players in this PSA domain. There are many customers. All our customers are much, much bigger than us. And they were not bigger when they started with us, but they became bigger. And this software, this technology, they did many other things, but this is also one of the enabler. And so that's a little bit about us. If you do this, what can you expect? First, it will help you improve your top line because you have better resource utilization, other factors, and it will improve your margins. There is a lot of discussion. How do you improve margins? So there is a science in it, and we must use the technology. Second, it will bring in that governance of financial governance, delivery governance. This will ultimately lead to better CSAT scores, customer retention, and then by word of mouth, you are also one of our customer when they were getting a large deal from a aerospace OEM. That customer literally saw their systems. How do you manage my project? Because if your house is in not order, how do I trust you? Like Anand said in the beginning, you have to build trust. While talking to you, I can build certain level of trust. But if I show you the processes, that's where the real trust is. So they won the deal because they had systems in place. And this can happen to all of us. Then, cross-functional and geographical integration, culture building I spoke about. You cannot imagine, we are underestimating the power of this culture building. What role technology can play? Today in our customer place, it's not just the PMO team or the finance team. Every person in the team knows whether it's a T&M project, it's a fixed price projects, what are the metrics of these two kind of projects, what's my role? So this is extremely important, and more importantly, the last one, it improves the thinking process, not just of the CEO, but the entire organization. That's huge. So this is the last slide. What can you do? First, like Anand said, you have to visualize. What is the end state I want to be in? If you have done that, rest of these are easy. Prepare for the culture change. It's the people who are going to do it. Talk to them. And this is another reason why they will stick to you. You can't stop attrition by just saying, I want to stop attrition, or by paying them more. But you can stop by making your purpose much bigger. Imagine the end state digital blueprint I talked. Find the technology you want to start with, which can have the maximum impact. And these things are done already. Don't go reinvent. Find out the right partner. They can help you. You don't have to do brick by brick. You can get the wall and then build on it. So get that advantage. And finally, you learn from it, the thinking improves, and that's your journey. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was, our time is also up. Thank you very much.
We can take one question from the audience. Any questions?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Dr. Sanjay Churudia from Suryadatta Group of Institutes.
Yeah.
Do you have any customized software, especially for the educational institutions, which are running courses from preschool, school to junior college to senior college to institutions and research centers?
No, we are very focused on ITES industry.
Yeah, I heard about
but,
that.
But what we can do is, we can teach your students when they go out what they can do.
Okay.
So we can do that, but we don't have a software for education.
Okay, because you mentioned about the span of years and the growth. So similar thing, whether it is exactly applicable for the educational institutions
It
also?
may be applicable, I don't deny, but as I said, you have to be very focused, and we are in ITES.
Okay, no, I understood. In general, I am being an expert
Yeah.
in this field, I am asking you. You mentioned about the usage of technology and therefore corresponding growth.
Correct.
It's absolutely correct. We also in agreement with you. But educational institutions which are affiliated to various universities, the Ministry HRD, All India Council of Technical Educations, we have certain intake sanction limited, and there do not exist this kind of a scope of a growth in manifold because
Sure.
the intake is restricted.
Sure, we can talk about it. I mean, we are just...
During the lunch break, will you be
Yeah,
available?
absolutely. Our booth is there.
Okay.
If you want, we can speak. And
Sure.
there are a lot of my colleagues wearing the same jacket,
Yeah, yeah.
so you will not have difficulty finding us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best.
We don't have time, but I'm going to ask you a very quick question.
Sure.
All this you have presented very nice, but from practical experience, I just think that it's very difficult to make people enter anything. They enter Excel sheets, that's good enough. To make them enter on other systems itself is a challenge.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
any experience or any one or two tips how people would enter it?
Yeah, it's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. It's a people change management. But if you want to win the Olympic gold, right, you take your child 4 o'clock in the morning and get started. You don't think of all the problems which will come. So there are challenges, but people have done it, so you can too. That's my, just get started. Sometimes we overthink and then nothing happens. You know, the moment you start, you will find a lot of ways to do it.
Thank you, Sandeep, and I
Thank you.
think, thank you, Uma. Sandeep, the insights were very useful. I would now request Uma to hand over a token of gratitude from NASSCOM's, on behalf of NASSCOM to Sandeep.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And here is a small token of appreciation for Uma as well, and would request Sandeep if he can hand over it to her.
Sure. Sorry.